Now, most summers you can find botanists from the Canadian Museum of Nature traveling up to Nunavut or Northwest Territories to collect plants and lichens for the National Herbarium of Canada. Now, as part of our Arctic Flora of Canada and Alaska project, what we do is we'll travel out to a remote field camp on the tundra, collect as many different species of plants as we can see, and we'll squash them into 2 dimensions using a plant press. What we do with these specimens are we store them in a library of preserved specimens we call a herbarium. Now, field season's going to look a little different for us this year, and it already does. You're standing in the middle of my living room. But we thought that might be fun to show you how you can make your very own herbarium specimens at home. Now, if you don't have a plant press hanging around, don't despair. All you need are a couple heavy books. You might have some other botany equipment too lying around, like a magnifying glass or a field notebook or a GPS. But even if you don't have all of that, all you really need to do to start collecting your own specimens is your own curiosity. So the most important rule when making your own plant collections is to never collect on parks or in protected areas, and to always make sure you ask permission before you make a collection. It's always important to remember never to collect any plant that is the only one you can see. You don't want to take something out that might be rare. Now, what do you need when you make your specimens? Well, you might need a trowel, just like this one, or some hedge clippers, and a notebook. This is really important to make your field notes, because without recording when you collected the specimen, who collected the specimen, you, and where you collected the specimen, you're not going to have the scientific value with it later. So normally what we do when we're collecting a plant is we'll dig it out by the roots, and that's because it's often important to have the roots for a positive identification of what the plant is. But if you're dealing with a tree like this, it's okay to take a cutting of a branch. Now be sure to write down your field notes right away in case you get a little confused later as to what goes with which plant. The important things to write down are where you collected it, when you collected it, who collected it, and if you know the species, write that down too. If you don't know the species, that's okay. You can figure that out later. So now that we're back inside with our specimen and our field notes, we can press the plant to preserve it. What you'll need is a heavy book like this. If you have a plant press, that's great. However, I'm guessing most of you probably don't have one in your closet. You'll also need a sheet of paper towel like this. So just open the book to the middle, somewhere where the plant will get nice and pressed. Lay out your paper towel and arrange the specimen so that when we press it later, as many different parts of it will be showing. For example, if it has flowers, you want to kind of put those on the paper so that it gets opened up. And we'll take our field notes and we'll tuck them in with that sheet so that we know that these notes go with this specimen. We'll close that up and put that in a sunny area, like next to a window, for a few days, up to a week. And I'm guessing after that you'll have a nice dry specimen to work with. So I've already done one up. So if we pull this out, you'll see that we have a very nice flat dandelion, and this is perfect for processing into our next step. So at this point, if you didn't know what the plant was before, it's probably a good time to look it up. And so if you have some field guides at home, try going through those to see what kind of plant you've collected. And these are just the ones that I use. Once you've identified the plant, you'll want to mount it on a sheet of paper in order to preserve it. The sheet of paper supports the specimen over the long term. So, using some glue, just dab a little bit. Maybe get some on the leaves too, so that those are supported as well. And adhere it to your paper. And now we'll take those field notes that we used before and write down the species, once you figure that out, the place, the person who collected it, and the collection date. And there you have your very own flat plant specimen.